Welcome to Goes to 11 Get Spun. I'm Clint Bowers, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Getting Hooked Lures bucktail spinner. So we're going to use a 2/0 Mustad big game hook. My vise. I'm going to use 3/0 chartreuse thread. We'll bring the thread down to about the hook point. And at that point we'll build up a bit of a ramp here. I'll just keep our bucktail lifted off the fly and kind of pointing in the upwards direction. I'm going to use some fluorescent yellow bucktail for the starting point. Because we're going to tie a spinner with this, I'm not going to use a overabundance of bucktail. Turn up the length. Then I set it on just past the bump on the hook shank there we've created. Make a loose wrap on it. Make sure you keep everything centered on the hook shank. Get a couple wraps on that. And then start cinching it down tight. All up. I like to make sure everything's still riding straight off the back of the hook. I'm going to move forward a little ways and create another bump. This one will be a little bit bigger than the last one, just so it keeps your bucktail up above the last piece that we tied on there. And about the same amount that we used last time, we'll use again. Measure it out. Snip it off. Lay it back on there again, just at the front of that bump. A couple loose wraps. Make sure everything's riding straight on there. Cinch it down. Forward to cover all of that again. Create another bump. This one again will be a little bit larger than the last one we just made. We use one more piece of the fluorescent yellow, and after we do that, we'll create one more bump and we'll change to a different color. We'll add a little big fly fiber in there for some extra color. Take that off again. Get a couple loose wraps. Make sure everything's still sitting up on top, nice and even. Cinch it down, tie it in. little bit, not too much this time because we're going to tie some of the big fly fiber in. Big fly fiber we have has some yellow, orange, and some flash in it. And that'll just give us some extra sparkle there. So what I like to do is use about an inch longer than what we've got for our bucktail there. Just leave some flash out the back end. So you don't need too much of this stuff. It's just to add flash. Make it stand out a little bit better. Attract the fish a little more. So lay that on there so that our pieces are sticking out past the end of the bucktail. Again, we use a couple of loose wraps on that just to hold it in place to get things started. And kind of spread them around the outside. Try and get them evenly spaced out around there so that everything has a little bit of extra color all the way around it. I'll tie those in nice and tight. Snip off those extra little tag ends there. And we'll stay back from the eye about I don't know, half a length of the eye itself. Build up the head again here, the bump. And we'll change colors here. I'm going to use a fluorescent pink to finish the front end off. And this piece we'll cut probably about half the length that we got of the yellow stuff because I don't want it to go out past the end of the fly. I want it to be about halfway. So I measure it out, snip it off again. Excuse me. Oops. And a couple loose wraps. Make sure everything sits up in the top of the fly. Tie it in tight. And because I'm going to put this onto a spinner, I'm not going to build the head up real big here. I'm just going to cover the pink bucktail up and tie it off. It's pretty heavy thread, so I like to put a couple of whip finishes in there. Snip it off, and then I'll use some Solarez bone dry to finish the head off. Glue the thread in. Hit it with the UV light to cure it. And we've got our bucktail portion of our spinner ready to use. Alright, at this point we're going to start assembling our spinner. We've got a 40 thou wire shaft. I've already created a loop in the end for our split ring and our hook. We'll start with a 3/16 brass bead. We'll add a 7/32 brass bead above that. And we'll put on a 5/8 lead weight that I've painted chartreuse. Oops, another 7/32 brass bead. 3/16 brass bead. Our number 4 shackle. And a number 6 French blade spinner blade in gold. Drop that on there, make sure everything spins freely. Take it to our wire former. Push that up to about the shackle is, and I'll bring it back about a 1/2 inch. Wrap around, stop there. Snip off my wire. Watch out for that because it'll shoot across the room like that for you. We'll get the loop around, bring it off there, just turn it over. Back in our former. Bend it back so we get a V. Look at it, make sure we're straight. If it's not straight, grab your needle nose pliers, straighten that out a little bit. Bring it into our twister. Twister. Make sure you hold everything down firmly here and keep force on your twister so it keeps your loop nice and tight. Brings your loop up, ties your loop into a nice tight loop. We'll add our split ring. Wire. We'll grab our bucktail fly. We'll add that onto our split ring. Whoops. Installed. There we go. There's a bucktail spinner. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please follow us, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell on the to get the reminders for any future content from Goes to 11. Thank you.